Pokemon Discord version. Chapter 3, Part 2.
Wonderful, my boy. That is truly wonderful. I cannot tell you how happy I am to see you again, Adonis. Alma would be so proud. Actually, I feel Alma's spirit lives on through this Shedinja. Something tells me your mother has been watching over you this entire time, my boy. Now, I must get some rest if you'll excuse me. I shall retire to my quarters. We have much hard work ahead of us, Adonis. Meet me at Center Boneyard at the Combustion Crow of Dawn. You kids behave yourselves. Good night, Eldridge said.
Good night, Professor. Don't worry about him. I'll make sure to keep him alive.
Nurse Joy said jokingly while smiling at Adonis. I'll be there at dawn for sure. It's not like I'll be sleeping or anything. Adonis said sorrowfully while hanging his head as Eldridge made his way to his quarters. A few hours later, after tending to baby Aiden and putting him to bed, Nurse Joy did her makeup and changed her clothes to try and impress Adonis. She then made her way to the guest bedroom to check on him and to mainly see if he wanted any company.
Adonis, just checking up on you. Are you alright? Do you need anything? Adonis?
Nurse Joy said as she knocked on the door and got no response. Nurse Joy's thoughts.
I hope he's okay in there. I can tell he's really hurting. Oh, I wish I could do something to ease his mind. Why isn't he answering? Maybe he just wants to be alone. I just can't help myself. I don't care if he's a ghost. His presence is just so intoxicating. I've never felt like this before. I hope he doesn't think I'm a pest. I know my pain cannot compare, but maybe he will open up to me if I just tell him how I feel.
She thought to herself.
Adonis, is it okay if I come in? Adonis? Okay, I'm coming in. I hope you're decent.
She says as she slowly opens the door, only to find that Adonis was gone.
Now where did he go?
She says as she exits the lab, in hopes of finding Adonis somewhere. Shedinja then floats up to her and lets out a positive cry, indicating for Joy to follow it.
Hello, little Shedinja. Can you bring me to Adonis, please?
She asked as Shedinja began to quickly lead her through the star-lit town towards Center Boneyard. As she made her way through the vine-wrapped metal gate, she noticed Adonis sitting on top of a big stone mausoleum, looking up at the starry night sky. His crimson eyes reflected off of the moonlight as he laid back, leaning against the Aegislash statue that was on top of the mausoleum.
Adonis, I hope I'm not bothering you. I just wanted to check and see if you were doing all right. May I join you?
She asked nervously. Nurse Joy, look, I don't want to be rude, but I just wouldn't be good company right now. Adonis broodingly replied.
Oh, don't be silly. I can tell when someone could use a friend. It's one of my many good qualities.
Nurse Joy says as she reaches out her hand, indicating for Adonis to help her up onto the mausoleum. Adonis sighs while grabbing her hand and lifting her up. Nurse Joy gasped as she lost her footing and fell straight onto Adonis. Face to face, they both nervously stared deeply into each other's eyes. Nurse Joy blushed harder than she ever had before as she felt Adonis's ghostly coldness sink deep into her flesh. Adonis quickly moved her off of him as he noticed her violently shiver. I'm sorry, Adonis said as he turned his back to her and closed his eyes.
No, Adonis. I mean, it's all right. Look, see? I'm okay. The cold never bothered me before. Winter has always been my favorite season. I don't mind, really.
Nurse Joy said, still blushing and extremely nervous. Joy, do you know what's within this mausoleum that we're on top of? Adonis asked. She looked down beneath the Aegislash statue and noticed a gold-plated engraving that read,
Here lies a legendary hero, a beloved son, a world-renowned Pokemon warrior, and a most honorable prince. Prince Adonis Nova of Team Rocket, 1859 to 1879.
Nurse Joy immediately felt sorrow within her heart.
Adonis,
She said quietly as she stared at him with a sad look upon her face. My corpse, Nurse Joy. My corpse is rotting beneath us. Those are lies written on my headstone. I'm not a hero. I'm a demon. And now I'm cursed to walk among the final resting place of all those who I chose to murder while I was alive. Adonis said with vexation.
Oh, Adonis, I know my words aren't enough. Is there nothing I can do to ease your pain? If not only for tonight?
Nurse Joy said with bright, sympathetic eyes. And sleep, that sometimes shuts up sorrow's eye. Steal me a while from mine own company, Adonis said while staring up into the night sky.
But if the while I think on me, dear friend, all losses are restored in sorrow's end.
Nurse Joy replied sweetly as she moved closer to Adonis. Ah, Shakespeare. Nurse Joy, I had no idea you were a versifier. I'm impressed, Adonis said as he turned back to face Nurse Joy.
You aren't alone anymore, Adonis. Sorrow doesn't have to be your only company. I'm here for you. If you would just let me in,
she said while continuing to blush beneath the moonlight. Nurse Joy feels her heartbeats begin to quicken as she moves her hand on top of his. Don't, Adonis said as he quickly pulled his hand away. I'm sorry, Nurse Joy. You don't want to get close with someone like me. I'm dangerous, more than you know. I think I need to be alone. You'll get back to the lab safely, won't you? Adonis said as he dissipated and became invisible, leaving Nurse Joy and Shedinja alone on top of his grave.
Adonis,
she said as Shedinja floated into her arms, trying to comfort her. Nurse Joy felt embarrassed for attempting to show Adonis how she truly felt for him. However, she understood and was already mentally prepared for that outcome. She didn't let it affect her morale or her friendship with Adonis. Adonis went on to train with Eldridge and eventually was able to unlock each one of his Pokemon partner spirits, bringing them back into the physical plane. In order to do this, Adonis needed Eldridge's wisdom and guidance to gain full control over his spirit body and the new powers that came with it. Upon regaining his inhuman speeds of Mach 10 and above, he was now also able to levitate, become intangible, telekinetically manipulate objects, offensively inject his ghostly venom-like energies to corrode his opponents, and use his mind to create a telepathic link between himself and his Pokemon partners. The hardest part of his training was defeating the angered spirits of his former Pokemon partners and recapturing them, inevitably pulling their spirit bodies back into the physical plane of existence. With the help of Shedinja, he defeated and captured his team's spirits one by one over a significant period of time. Shuckle, Ninjask, Greninja, Garchomp, Charizard, and Aegislash. 10 years later. Adonis, you have done well, my boy. You are finally ready for your role in our mission. Are you ready, Adonis? It is time to complete your final training task. Eldridge asked. You mean awakening my Phantom Blade Aegislash? Adonis smirks. Yeah, let's do this. Adonis replied with a confident smirk.
we believe in you and your team, Adonis. All of us are right behind you every step of the way.
Nurse Joy said with a warm smile as Shedinja bobbed around happily. Right, then let us begin. Alakazam, open his mind. Reveal the final piece to this long, treacherous puzzle. Reach into the confines of his mind and invoke the restless spirit of the Phantom Blade Aegislash. Eldritch commands Alakazam, as it then levitates in the air and psychic links with Adonis in order to search his mind for Aegislash. Adonis began levitating as well as his body went limp and his eyes went blank. Alakazam shouts as it yanks the spirit of Aegislash from Adonis. Suddenly, as the spirit orb of Aegislash arises from Adonis, something else had interfered with the connection and awakened from a different plane. The screeching of a monstrous creature shook the entire surrounding area as the storm continued stirring violently. What's this? How is this possible? You! It cannot be! Alakazam! Stop the connection immediately! Eldridge yelled out desperately.
It is too late, Eldritch Nova. I have been concealed within the distortion dimension for too long. Now, through the Phantom Prince, I am reborn.
A deep, sinister voice came from a black portal that appeared in front of Adonis's levitating body. Another ear-piercing screech came from the portal as the creature's head began to show through. My word! That is Dark Lord Giratina! Wretched ruler of the Distortion World! How did this happen? Eldritch said as his Alakazam fought as hard as it could to shut the portal, but its attempts were futile. Giratina's head was already almost fully through the portal. Suddenly, Adonis's psychic link became broken and he regained consciousness. Black twisted chains then appeared around each of Adonis's limbs while Giratina attempted to enter the realm of the living. As he opened his eyes, he was face to face with the Dark Lord Giratina. You shall not enter, Dark One! This realm has no room for the likes of you! Here! Eldritch yelled out as he leaped high into the air with his staff and spun around to give himself enough momentum. Huh? What the devil? No! Ah! Eldritch attempted to strike Giratina, but was quickly stopped by another fiendish chain that wrapped his ankle and slammed him to the ground.
Adonis!
Nurse Joy screamed while holding onto a nearby tree for dear life. Quickly, Adonis's Phantom Blade Aegislash appeared and darted towards Adonis. Yeah! Adonis then yelled out as he grabbed the hilt of his Aegislash, and black flames burst from his back and shoulders and danced around him wildly as he and his blade were reunited. The cloth that came from Aegislash wrapped itself around Adonis's forearm for maximum binding. As this happened, the Phantom Blade contract markings reappeared, burning ancient scriptures into every inch of his flesh. Adonis then dashed quicker than the speed of sound to Eldritch and Nurse Joy, quickly teleporting them a safe distance as his black flames took on the appearance of angel wings. He then teleported himself back to Giratina and the Distortion Portal.
What's this? Phantom Prince? You use my very blade against me? How dare you, mortal?
Giratina said with eternal fury in his words. You think I'm mortal? You know, being an all-powerful evil deity, you should really get your facts right. Adonis said as he dashed forward and impaled the Phantom Blade into Giratina's eye socket, pushing him back into the Distortion World as he pulled the blade from the Dark Lord's bloodied eyeball.
No! Impossible! It cannot be! The prophecy? The legacy of Zero? This cannot be real!
Giratina yelled out as he launched a foul blast of sinister energies at Adonis using the move Ominous Winds. Adonis's Phantom Shield darted from his back and blocked the Ominous Winds using the move King's Shield. Shut up already, will you? Flash! Adonis said as he delivered an earth-shattering swing from his Aegislash that caused a blinding light of metallic energies that blasted into the Distortion Portal, making contact with Giratina.
You insignificant filth!
Giratina yelled out in pain as he was damaged so severely that he needed to recover before retaliating. No, Adonis! Use the blade to seal the portal! Do it quickly, my boy! Eldritch yelled out to Adonis. Huh? Use the blade? Adonis said as he looked down at his Aegislash. Yes, my boy! Just like your great-grandfather did! Only this time, the blade already exists in the realm of the living! There's no need for you to lock yourself inside like he did! Do it now, Adonis! Before the Dark One recovers! Eldritch yelled. Well, here goes nothing, I suppose. Adonis said as he stepped back and faced the portal. He then focused his energies on his blade and connected with Aegislash as he closed his eyes. Aegislash, you know exactly what to do, don't you? Adonis said as Aegislash began to glow brightly. Adonis then held the blade with both hands and pointed it at the portal. Suddenly, a beam of light burst from the blade and began weaving the portal shut. Yes, my boy! That is the way to do it! Now that the portal is shut, finish it off! Erase it from this plane of existence, Adonis! Eldridge instructed. Right. Yeah! Adonis said as he dashed up to the portal and stabbed into the center of it with his Aegislash. As he planted the blade into the portal firmly, it began disappearing into the blade itself. The portal was legitimately being sucked up into Aegislash. Once the portal was completely gone, Adonis backflipped and landed back onto the earth, hanging his blade on his back while his black flames reverted into his body. Before Adonis could even react, Nurse Joy made her way up to him and hugged him from behind tightly while crying.
Adonis, I thought I was going to lose you forever. I'm so happy you're okay. Don't ever scare me like that again.
Nurse Joy said as she hugged Adonis tight. Good thing I'm dead and I don't need to breathe. Otherwise you would be suffocating me right now. Adonis said with a soft smile, joking with Nurse Joy.
Oh goodness, I'm so sorry,
she said as she let go of him. Eldridge approached them slowly and said, My boy, there has not been a moment where I have ever been more proud of you than I am right now. You did it, Adonis. You not only gained full control and maneuverability over your new body, but you have reunited yourself with your entire team of Pokemon partners. Look at you. You remind me so much of my father. Flashes back to Lord Zero. I'm sorry. It brings tears to my eyes knowing that a part of my father exists within you, my boy, Eldridge said while fighting back tears. Grandfather, the boy is only 11 years old. Do you think he's ready? Adonis asked. No, not yet. He still requires much more training. But rest assured, his progress is coming along well, Eldridge replied. How long do you think until the kid is ready, Grandfather? Adonis asked. Patience, my boy. Slow and steady wins the race, after all. I know you're eager to take the fight to your father and the masses of Team Rocket, but even you cannot handle them all on your own. We must make sure we formulate this step by step. We don't want to do anything rash, my boy. How about this? Give us 2 more years, then the boy will be ready. I promise you this, Eldridge said. 2 years? Grandfather, with all due respect, my training has already taken over a decade. Do you really think waiting any longer is wise? We still have to unite a solid faction, and that task alone will most likely take 2 years. Can we really allow Team Rocket to continue devastating Agoria for another 4 years? Adonis said angrily.
Adonis, relax. I'm sure the professor knows what he's doing. Look how much he's helped your progress. Please just be patient,
Nurse Joy said, trying to reassure Adonis. It is quite all right, my girl. No need to defend my honor. Adonis means well, and I understand completely where he is coming from. However, it is important that we leave no room for error. Aiden's life is more precious than anything else. We would be terrible to send a young child into the terrors of this world unprepared. Adonis, I trust in your abilities 110%. The issue is Aiden. I need that boy to be ready for anything. He has proved time after time again that he is no ordinary 11-year-old. He truly possesses the intellect and prowess of both his mother and his father. I want to season that and make sure he is at his full capacity of understanding before we commence. Once that is complete, I will turn him loose to you after he is ready to receive the Eon Spirit that I have been saving for him. Is that understood, Adonis? Eldridge asked. Yes, Grandfather. I understand. I apologize for questioning your methods. You are my master, after all. Adonis replied humbly. Yes, but it seems now that the student has far surpassed the master. I was helpless to the Dark One's assault, and you not only stepped in and saved our lives, but you also defeated the Dark Lord and sealed his treacherous portal, just as my father did all those years ago. I am truly proud of you, Adonis, and I know that one day your father will encounter the unfortunate fate that he and his army of demons rightfully deserve. Eldritch said proudly. I couldn't have said it better myself, old man. Thank you, grandfather. Thank you for everything. Adonis replied.
Okay, now that all that scariness is over, is anybody hungry? I'm sure Aiden is. Thinking.
Why, Nurse Joy, have you become a mind reader? Eldritch said jokingly to Joy. You two go on ahead. I'll catch up later. Plus, I'm not supposed to let the kids see me yet, remember? Adonis said as he put his hood up and dissipated into the surrounding wilderness. Eldridge and Joy then made their way back to the lab to enjoy a pleasant meal and recuperate themselves.
Aiden, dinner is ready, child. Come on inside and join us, won't you?
Nurse Joy called out to Aiden, who was playing with Chansey in the garden. Yes, dinner time! Chansey, I'm starving! Coming, Nurse Joy! Aiden replies as he and Chansey make their way towards the back door of the lab.
Aiden, shoes please.
Nurse Joy reminded Aiden. Oops, sorry, Nurse Joy. Aiden replies as he leaves his dirty running shoes at the door and makes his way inside to wash up before dinner. Aiden notices something outside of the restroom window as he is washing his hands and face. Huh? What in the world is that? Aiden says as he turns off the sink and runs out of the back door once again to try and get a better look at what he saw.
Aiden, now where is that boy gotten off to?
Nurse Joy says to herself as she walks out the back door into the garden. She approaches Aiden, who is intensely focused on the wood line. She looks up and sees a dark figure walking away with a small floating Pokemon that follows close behind him. Nurse Joy, who is that? Aiden asks.
You'll find out soon enough, Aiden.
She replies with a warm smile as she places her hand on his shoulder. I don't know what that means, but okay, Aiden says as he runs back inside to eat dinner.
Aiden, shoes!
Nurse Joy yells as she chases after him into the lab. The kid's got a good eye. I'll give him that. That kind of attentiveness to detail is what we need in a hero. I barely even made myself visible that time, and he still spotted me. He's on his way for sure. Wouldn't you say, Shedinja? Adonis asked Shedinja as it replied positively and continued to follow Adonis through the eerie acres.